Good morning. I am coming to you from Jekyll Island. It's been a minute since I've been here, but I got up this morning and wanted to see the sunrise here on the beach. And, as I'm walking the beach, I was thinking about my friend's podcast that I listened to on the way down here. And he just wrote a book, and it's called When Words Don't Come Easy, and it's really talking about his walk through depression and just things over the last 10 years that he's dealt with. And in his podcast yesterday, he was talking about a time when he was in like really the deepest parts of his depression and just really walking through just such a dark time. And I'll share the podcast in the comments so you can go watch, or listen, and order his book. So, but he was talking about he was really in the deepest part of his depression, and he and his family and some friends went to the beach. They went to Gulf Shores, and while he got up early one morning, and before anybody else, it was still dark on the beach, and he was walking. Just really just thinking in deep thought, and reflecting. And really he said he was mad at God for things that had gone on, and he served in ministry, and he's like, things should be different because of that. And he felt like, God had really done him a disservice for where he was in life. And he said he was walking along the beach, and he saw a couple, and they were picking up seashells. Well, he didn't know that's what they were doing, but he said they kept bending down and looked like they were picking things up, and then every now and then they would throw things down. Some things they would pick up and keep, and other things they would put down. And he said it wasn't until later he realized, as he kept watching them, and as the sun started coming up and he could see a little bit better, he said he realized that they were picking up seashells, and they were keeping the ones that were perfect condition. But anything that was broken, they were throwing back down. And he said in that moment, the Lord spoke to him and told him, there's beauty in the broken. And he said it was at that moment where just really a lot of the things he was dealing with, God just washed away. And it didn't mean that things were better overnight. It didn't mean that his outlook was better. But he had peace. And God replaced all that turmoil inside of him with peace. And that peace that passes all understanding. And so this morning, as I'm standing here on the beach, waiting on the sun to really come up, and I was looking down and seeing different seashells. There's not a lot of seashells here on this end of the beach. But, I was thinking about that and how there is beauty in the broken. And it reminded me of one of my favorite scriptures in the Bible, which is Isaiah 61:3. And it says that God will give us beauty for ashes. So he takes our broken pieces, just like these broken seashells. And my friend said he started picking up all the broken seashells. And he said by the time he finished, he had probably 100. And he put them in a jar, and he still has them to remind him that there's beauty in the broken. There's beauty in our brokenness. We don't have to stay broken. God can really turn things around for us. We just have to trust him. And so even when life doesn't look like we thought it should, or things are not going the way that we planned, or maybe God's timetable is different from ours, there's beauty in the broken pieces. There's beauty in the broken. We just have to look for the beauty. And in Isaiah 61:3, it says that God will give us beauty for ashes. He takes those broken things. He takes the broken pieces, and he really will create something beautiful. Even the dark nights you go through, the dark times you go through, the painful moments, all of that works God weaves all of that into something beautiful. He really creates a beautiful story out of our lives. And even though we think, maybe God has turned his back on us, he hasn't. He's working in the background when we don't see him. And I'm so thankful for that today. I'm thankful that He didn't discard me away when I was broken, but yet He nurtured me, and He showed me that even in my brokenness, even in the broken places, that there was a purpose. And there's a purpose in your broken places too. And if you'll just give those over to Him, He'll give you beauty for the ashes of your life. And I don't know how He does it, but He does. And just like this morning, I'm standing here watching the sunrise. God will allow you to see the sunrise in your life too. And, He wants to shine that light on you, and He wants to help you see that there's beauty in your broken places. I hope that encouraged you this morning. Like I said, I'll put a link in the comments to my friend Andy's podcast. I'll put a link to his website where you can order his book. There's actually a link on his website too. You can go to adhoward.com and you can find a link to his podcast and a link to order his book. So super excited for him and what's to come for all of that, and to see how many lives are really encouraged by his story. I know just the little bit that I know of his story, I have been encouraged myself. So I also want to show you this. So walking along the beach this morning, I found several sand dollars. I don't know that I have ever found any, but they're everywhere. So thank y'all for being with me this morning, and hope you have a beautiful day.